The peripheral nervous system. An exploration of the structure, function, and components of the nervous system beyond the brain and spinal cord. Lesson overview. Peripheral nervous system overview. Structure and organization of the PNS. Somatic and autonomic systems. Comparing voluntary and involuntary control. Neuron structure and function. The cellular basis of neural communication. Neuron classification. Types and roles of different neurons. Nerve impulse transmission. How signals travel through the nervous system. The peripheral nervous system. Overview. The peripheral nervous system, PNS, includes all neural structures outside the central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. It consists of two main components. Sensory system. This system includes receptors and nerves that carry incoming signals from the body and external environment to the central nervous system. CNS, motor system. This system comprises nerves that transmit outgoing signals from the CNS to various effectors, such as muscles and glands, prompting responses. Components of the PNS. The cranial nerves are 12 pairs of nerves, directly connecting the brain to the head and neck region, enabling functions like sensory perception and motor control for the face and organs. The spinal nerves consist of 31 pairs of nerves that extend from the spinal cord, connecting it to the thorax, abdomen, and limbs, facilitating communication between the CNS and the rest of the body. Divisions of the motor system. The motor component of the PNS is divided into two major functional systems that work in different contexts. Somatic nervous system. This system governs voluntary movements by controlling skeletal muscles, allowing us to interact consciously with our environment. Autonomic nervous system. Operating involuntarily, this system regulates vital bodily functions, such as heart rate, digestion, and breathing, by controlling smooth muscles, cardiac muscle, and glands. Somatic nervous system. The somatic nervous system, SNS, consists of motor efferent neurons that connect the CNS to skeletal muscles. It's characterized by voluntary control, governs conscious movements and actions by activating skeletal muscles. External stimuli response. Mediates immediate reactions and adjustments to changes in the external environment. Direct neural pathway. Features a single neuron connecting the central nervous system directly to the target muscle. Always excitatory. Transmits signals that consistently stimulate and activate muscle contraction. Autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, ANS, operates beyond conscious control, regulating essential internal bodily functions. Neural connections. The ANS consists of motor efferent neurons connecting the CNS directly to glands, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscle throughout the body. Involuntary regulation. It involuntarily regulates vital bodily functions, including heart rate, respiratory movements, digestion, and pupil dilation/constriction. Maintaining internal stability. Divisions of the autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system. Dominates during stress or exertion, preparing the body for fight or flight responses. Connects internal organs to the thoracic and lumbar spinal cord, regulating functions like vasodilation and sweat. Parasympathetic nervous system. Dominates during calm periods, promoting rest and digest activities and energy conservation. Connects internal organs to cranial nerves and sacral spinal nerves, supporting regular bodily functions. Sympathetic versus parasympathetic effects. Organ. Sympathetic effect. Parasympathetic effect. Heart. Increases rate and force, decreases rate and force. Lungs. Dilates bronchioles. Constricts bronchioles. Digestive tract. Decreases activity. Increases activity. Pupils. Dilates. Constricts. Blood vessels. Constricts. Constricts. Most. Dilates. Some. The sympathetic and parasympathetic systems typically work in opposition to maintain homeostasis. The neuron. Basic unit of the nervous system. Neurons, nerve cells, are the basic structural and functional units of the nervous system. They are specialized to receive stimuli. Neurons are designed to detect and respond to various forms of information from the environment or within the body, generate electrical signals. Upon receiving stimuli, neurons can produce electrical impulses, which are the basis of neural communication. Conduct nerve impulses. These electrical signals, known as nerve impulses, are rapidly transmitted along the neuron's structure. Transmit signals. Neurons effectively pass these impulses to other neurons, muscles, or glands, orchestrating bodily responses. Neuron structure. Cell body soma. The central part of the neuron, containing the nucleus and cytoplasm. It appears grayish and is responsible for relaying impulses from dendrons to the axon. Can be oval, polygonal, or star-shaped. Dendrons and dendrites. Short, branched extensions from the cell body. Dendrons branch further into numerous dendrites, serving as the main receptive regions of the neuron. They carry nerve impulses towards the cell body. Axon. A long, slender projection extending from the cell body. Its primary function is to carry nerve impulses away from the cell body. Axons can be quite long, often branching at their free end into synaptic knobs for communication with other cells. Myelin sheath. The myelin sheath is a fatty covering found around many axons, crucial for efficient nerve impulse conduction. Electrical insulation. It functions as an electrical insulator, preventing the leakage of electrical current and ensuring the signal travels along the axon. Faster transmission. This insulation significantly increases the speed at which nerve impulses are transmitted, allowing for rapid communication. Nodes of Ranvier. The sheath is not continuous but is interrupted at regular intervals by gaps called nodes of Ranvier, which are essential for saltatory conduction. Whitish appearance. The high lipid content of the myelin gives myelinated axons their characteristic whitish appearance, often visible in areas of the brain. Classification of neurons by function. Sensory, afferent neurons transmit impulses from receptors to the CNS. They carry information about the external and internal environment, and are the first neurons in reflex arcs. Motor, efferent neurons transmit impulses from the CNS to effectors, controlling muscles and glands. They are the final neurons in reflex arcs. Relay, association, neurons connect sensory and motor pathways. Found mainly within the CNS, they allow for complex integration of information. Transmission of nerve impulses. How do signals travel through neurons? Nerve impulse transmission involves both electrical conduction along neurons and chemical transmission between neurons. Phases of impulse transmission. Resting state. The neuron is not transmitting an impulse. The cell membrane is polarized, with more sodium ions, Na+, outside, and more potassium ions, K+ inside, resulting in a positive charge outside and a negative charge inside. Action state. Upon receiving a stimulus, dendrites become depolarized. Sodium ions flow into the cell, and potassium ions flow out, causing the cell body to transmit the impulse down the axon. Transmission between neurons. When the impulse reaches the synapse, it triggers the release of neurotransmitters, like acetylcholine. These chemicals cross the synaptic cleft, transmitting the impulse to the next neuron or effector cell. The synapse. A synapse is the crucial junction where one neuron communicates with another neuron, or with an effector cell, enabling the transmission of nerve impulses. Synaptic cleft. A tiny gap separates the presynaptic neuron from the postsynaptic cell, across which chemical signals are transmitted. Presynaptic terminal. This part of the neuron contains vesicles filled with neurotransmitters, which are released upon impulse arrival. Postsynaptic membrane. Equipped with receptor sites, this membrane receives the neurotransmitters, triggering a new electrical signal. One-way transmission. Synapses ensure that signals travel in a specific, unidirectional path, preventing confusion in neural pathways. Signal processing. Synapses are key sites for modulating and integrating neural signals, allowing for complex decision-making and responses. Sympathetic versus parasympathetic, antagonistic actions. Heart rate. Sympathetic system increases heart rate, while parasympathetic system decreases it. Respiratory system. Sympathetic dilates bronchioles, parasympathetic constricts them. Digestive system. Sympathetic decreases peristalsis and secretions. Parasympathetic increases them. Urinary system. Sympathetic relaxes bladder and contracts sphincter. Parasympathetic contracts bladder and relaxes sphincter. Eye. Sympathetic dilates pupil. Parasympathetic constricts pupil. Functions of neuron structures. Cell body soma. The central part of the neuron, containing the nucleus and cytoplasm. It integrates incoming signals and maintains cell metabolism. Dendrites. Branched extensions that receive stimuli and conduct nerve impulses towards the cell body. Axon. A long projection that conducts nerve impulses away from the cell body to other neurons or effector cells. Myelin sheath. A fatty covering that insulates the axon, significantly increasing the speed of impulse transmission. Nodes of Ranvier. Regular gaps in the myelin sheath that are crucial for enabling saltatory conduction, where impulses jump from node to node. Synaptic knobs. Specialized endings of the axon that store and release neurotransmitters, transmitting signals to the next cell. Key concepts review. The PNS connects the CNS to the rest of the body. Consists of 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Somatic system controls voluntary actions. Connects the CNS to skeletal muscles for conscious movement. Autonomic system regulates involuntary functions. Sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest divisions, work antagonistically. Neurons are the functional units of the nervous system. Classified as sensory, motor, or relay neurons based on their function. Nerve impulse transmission involves electrical and chemical processes. Progresses from a resting state through an action state to synaptic transmission.